Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. If you want to learn how to fight heart disease and stroke, stay tuned as we talk about the American Heart Association's upcoming Heart Walk, October 19th at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're in Conway, South Carolina, on the campus of Coastal Carolina University. We're in the E. Craig Walls School of Business, and we're visiting with Dr. John Charles of Grand Strand Regional Medical Center. Dr. Charles, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
This is a great commitment to think of. Obviously, this week's been focused on the Waccamaw Division's American Heart Association Heart Walk.
Yeah.
It's the 11th annual Heart Walk, and I know we'd like to talk to you a lot about the Heart Walk and obviously your activities with the Heart Walk in Grand Strands, but I'd really like to learn a little bit about yourself. Can you tell me a little bit about Dr. John Charles?
Well, Greg, I've lived here in Myrtle Beach for 13 years. For the most part, I've been an emergency physician and still am.
Okay.
This past summer, the Grand Strand Hospital, Grand Strand Medical Center, developed a new position called the Director for Medical Affairs, and I am blessed to have been asked to take that position.
That you just took over very recently.
Correct, maybe 6 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And you had been a emergency room physician for a number of years.
Right, sure have. And I was involved with the medical staff government as chief of staff and chiefs of various committees and things. But this was a new leap for Grand Strand in having someone who is dedicated full-time to making sure that the physicians are getting what they need out of the hospital.
Could you tell the viewers real quick where Grand Strand Regional Medical Center is located, and then how many physicians are there and support staff?
Sure, Greg. There are around 220 physicians on staff. We have a total of about 1,000 people working at Grand Strand. I think we're one of the largest employers in Myrtle Beach. Mm-hmm. And we're at 82nd Parkway and the Bypass. So if you know Dixie Stampede, then we're just south of that.
Are you a Carolinian by birth?
I am, Greg, but I didn't live here. My father was in the military. I traveled around a lot and ended up coming back here by virtue of marrying a Florence girl, and my parents had moved back here to the beach area, actually, and we wanted to be near our families. So after I did my military time, I came back here.
That's right. I think your father served on the Myrtle Beach City Council.
Right, 12 years on City Council.
Is that right? Did you ever have any aspirations to possibly have public service beyond being a physician?
You know, I may have, but any aspirations I had were dashed by watching my father go through 12 years on City Council.
Oh, golly.
So that is truly a lot more work than anyone gets paid for.
Mm-hmm. And they are paid just
you get a stipend,
a teensy bit. That's right. Real quick, you said 200 physicians. Are all the physicians or more located right in a central location there on 82nd Parkway, or are they?
No, not really, Greg. We're spread out, obviously, for the most part, on the east side of the waterway, but up and down the waterway, North Myrtle Beach, all the way down past Sophistry, Garden City, things of that nature. And our staff is divided into two large groups. One group is a group that spends almost all their time in their office and really doesn't come to the hospital. They use the hospital. And then the other group are the people who tend to spend a lot of time in the hospital, the surgeons, the cardiologists, and the internal medicine doctors who do intensive care and things of that nature.
As a physician, I'm sure you see the effects of cardiovascular disease every day.
I sure do.
Are there things that viewers could do in their lives to try to help prevent cardiovascular problems?
Well, how much time do we have, Greg?
4 minutes.
You know, I think it really boils down to how you live your life. Our bodies are just not designed and made to live the kind of life we live. Our bodies are not made to handle the amount of calories we take in. I think that the most obvious thing is smoking, and it's so obvious that everyone knows about it now. And that is such a huge culprit. But the other things that that we can do something about, and I think we need to increase our awareness of, is that we tend to consume too many calories of food that's not good for you. And I think that if we can all get into the lifestyle of exercising moderately and eating moderately, I think we would see a big drop. But that's hard to do. That's hard to do. It's hard for me to do.
That's why an event like the Heart Association's Heart Walk is such a spectacular event. Just the Fall Festival, the Fall Fitness Festival, which runs in conjunction with the Heart Walk. When folks arrive at the pavilion to sign in, they're recognized by so many.
Every one of these things, Greg, is a big drop in the bucket. But we admit it's a drop in the bucket because raising the awareness of an entire population is a hard thing to do.
I know it's only been 6 weeks, but if you were not currently the director for medical affairs for Grand Strand Regional Medical Center, what do you think you'd be doing, Dr. Charles?
Well, I would probably be back in the emergency room. I still work at ER medicine, emergency room 3 or 4 times a month, and I don't want to give that up. The other passion that I have is that I run mind-body medicine groups, where I have workshops that go around 10 weeks or so, once a week, and people come in and I teach them a lot of the things that are important for your health and things having to do with calming your body and your mind simultaneously to live a more balanced life.
I just want to ask real quick, the 13 years at Grand Strand Regional Medical Center, is there any accomplishment over the last year that you're most proud of? Whether it's in the hospital or in your personal life, yes.
Yeah. Well, I think my transition to the Director for Medical Affairs is important to me because it not only is it a new job, but it was a bit of a nod to me that the other physicians on staff think that I can do a good job as a go-between, that kind of thing. I think more important is my family's going to see me now in the evenings and on the weekends, which has made such a huge impact on them already.
Very definitely. And speaking of your family, we don't have time to talk about Dr. Charles' family, which is so spectacular, both his wife and all of your children, who I see regularly in church, and your father-in-law, who's an active viewer of former Congressman Ed Young up in the Florence area. A man who's committed 13 years of his life. When you think of public servants, oftentimes you think of law enforcement or fire safety folks or even public officials, politicians. You don't often think as much about physicians, and an emergency room physician like Dr. Charles, who's now taken on a new role at Grand Strand Regional Medical Center and will hopefully be much more involved with the Heart Walk in years going forward. Dr. Charles,
I look forward to it.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Greg.
Stay tuned for more Carolina People. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're in Conway, South Carolina, on the campus of Coastal Carolina University. We're in the E. Craig Walls Senior School of Business, and we're visiting with Coastal Carolina University's football coach, David Bennett. David, thanks for being with us this morning.
Appreciate you having me.
It is a big year, 2002, for the Coastal Carolina University football team. I think just recently you all began construction of a new football field, which will be opening next year, I think. Could you tell the viewers a little bit about the football team here at Coastal?
2003 going to be a little bigger.
Yes.
Because we'll start our first season. September the 6th is the game against Newberry College. It's going to be here on campus. So hopefully they'll have the stadium ready by then. They're out there grading and moving around dirt now, but it's going to be very exciting, and it's something this area I think is needed for a long time.
Coastal Carolina had never had a football team before your arrival.
Well, being from Currall right up the road, you've heard talk about it for the past 10 years.
Yes.
But to be asked to be the first head coach it's certainly an honor.
A great honor.
And we're looking forward to being the best team we can right out the blocks. We don't want to embarrass the university. It's a great university, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, you got a lot of time to build it," but we're a little anxious, and we're trying to have some patience.
Well, as an Horry County resident, I'm sure excited about the launch. And viewers within, up in the PD in Robeson, Scotland County, you said you're a Currall native, and so recognizing our viewers up in Chesterfield County. I understand you lived much of your life in North Carolina.
We were in Salisbury the past 12 years.
Okay.
At Catawba College.
Yes.
We enjoyed a lot of success there with wins and losses on the field, but also you like to see the young men grow and get involved in community service, and that's why we're involved in the Heart Walk, because it is great community work and it's serving a great cause.
And it's almost a month away. We're virtually exactly a month away from today, and to think October 19th will be upon us. I understand you've got a good bit of the football team planning on being out at the walk.
Well, we're planning on them all walking.
Great.
The only way they can't walk is if they've got something really important to do with their family, maybe a wedding or something.
Right.
And Victor Boyd, our strength coach, is going to lead the stretch. And we might have to tell them it's not football team, so go a little bit easy on these people before they start walking. But we're glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And very honored.
Here on the campus, it's amazing to see the commitment that the entire campus, the entire university is wrapped around the football team, the excitement you can just feel when you drive onto the campus. I'm sure it must be exhilarating to walk around the campus, probably at times almost intimidating to think folks recognize you as the heir apparent to a new reign of great success here at Coastal. What is that like for the players who are getting ready for next year?
Well, we're telling them it's a privilege to be a part of this team. It's not a right. Don't do anything to take away that privilege. Toughest thing for us is finding a place to practice. We're either on the intramural field or between the track or on the tennis courts in the gym. We've been over on the farm over there, so we're just trying to find a place to practice until the practice facility is built.
I understand you all are trying to help highlight some of the local area high schools by having some practices or scrimmages prior to big games coming up in the area. Has that been a success?
We had one at Myrtle Beach. We've got one this week at Carolina Forest. We're going to Saukastee 1st of October on a Friday night. And we want people in the whole beach area and Conway area to see what our kids are about.
Yes, yes. Coach Bennett, how long have you been coaching?
I can't even remember, Greg. I think it's about 19 years.
19 years,
So, yeah.
virtually out of the crib.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Went to Presbyterian College.
Okay.
And was very blessed with a great head coach there. Callie Galt was like a grandfather to me. And I wanted to get in coaching. Didn't do as much as I wanted to as a player. Got injured and blew my knee out and broke my leg. And so I stayed into coaching and just get to see these young men grow. And we've got a bunch of young ones right now here at Coastal Carolina with all freshmen.
And how many players, again, will be on the team? I know this is a question. Obviously, viewers within our 8-county viewing area and even more, they've got teams in their communities. Does Francis Marion, real quick, do they have a football team?
No, they don't. But if they want to start a team, we'd love to play them.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. You got a little leg up on them. You got how many players right now?
We've got 93.
Okay, great.
But once classes start, there's no limit.
Right. You have 93 now.
Right.
And we're prayerfully hopeful that all 93 of those young men will be out on the beach in front of the pavilion on October 19th. You said you've been coaching for 19 years. Has that coaching, you said 12 years at Catawba. Where did you coach before that?
Presbyterian College.
Right.
Clemson University as a graduate assistant for 2 years.
Okay.
Goose Creek High School and Newberry College.
What's expected of the players in respect to any funds that they will raise or help raise for the walk itself?
Well, it's going to be up to each kid to raise what they can. So I don't know what they'll end up raising, but I think it's a great cause because there are people that have heart disease. There are kids that are born with problems with the heart. So for us to help out is something our kids need. When they come to play football at Coastal Carolina, they're not just coming to play ball and get a degree. They're coming to be a part of volunteer work. And we tell them that from the beginning. At the end of each year, each player has to do 5 volunteer activities in the community. And whether that's mentoring at elementary schools or doing a car wash for the March of Dimes or in the Heart Walk, homeless shelter, it doesn't matter. This is part of their character growing process.
Yes.
Becoming young men.
I understand you have a motto, Coach Bennett. Would you mind sharing that motto?
Well, our motto is with our volunteer work, and it's Matthew 20:28, that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many. And that's what we put that on a plaque and give it to our Volunteer of the Year when they report back in August in front of the families. And to us as a coaching staff, that's more important than any All-American award or All-Conference award that you can win, is serving and helping others.
Lastly, Coach Bennett, what's the best part of your job?
Best part of our job, I guess the great thing about being a head coach is we set the hours. We meet at 8:30 in the morning. That way, every day, I get to walk our two kids into their class. And we've got a daughter in the 4th grade and a son in the 1st grade. And now she says I can walk her all the way through high school and give her a kiss. She had a boy ask her the other day, "You let your daddy walk you to class and give you a kiss?" And she said, "You got a problem with that?" And the little boy said, "No, I don't." And then we meet at 8:30. And that gives us time to be part of our families. You go work somewhere as an assistant coach, and the head coach might not be as understanding, but family to us, God and family comes first, and we get to put that first. But probably the most important thing about the job is seeing young boys turn into men and have character. We want to develop men of character.
Men of character is what we're focused on today. 93 young men we expect to have out on October 19th at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion to prepare for the Heart Walk that day. Obviously, their strength coach will be stretching them and hopefully stretching the entire crowd, which should surpass 1,200 walkers. Coach Bennett, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Great.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're in Conway, South Carolina on the Coastal Carolina University campus. We're in the E. Craig Wall Senior School of Business, and we're visiting with Angie Currall of the AVX Corporation here in Myrtle Beach. Angie, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Obviously this week's focused on the American Heart Association's Heart Walk. The 11th annual Heart Walk and Fall Fitness Festival is coming up on October 19th out of the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. Angela, how long has AVX had a team in the Heart Walk?
They've been involved, as far as I know, the last 10 years.
Is that right? Angie, why is the American Heart Association important to you?
Me personally, within the last 5 years, I have had my father-in-law, my father, and my stepfather have all had heart attacks, heart surgeries, bypasses. And that's really impacted our family tremendously. And if there's anything I can do, I'm grateful for all the research that has been done, and I know there can be more. And I want to be a part of that because with the history that my family has, you know, my husband and I, we want to be here for our children, and we want to make an impact for our kids so that they don't go through this. So.
Well, that surely helped prompted your involvement with the walk on a personal basis as well as on a corporate basis. Are there things you're doing to help recruit more walkers within the company or even outside of the company?
Yeah, I have got my Cub Scout pack walking.
Great.
Trying to keep them involved, make them aware. Even if they're 7 years old, they need to know, you know, have a giving spirit for one. But also anything that they can do, you know, that will affect their life and their families, making them aware. That I'm involved in several different organizations, and I talk it up as much as possible, and I try to get all of my committee members excited, and you know, and if I can get them excited, it just trickles on down the line. So I think we're doing well.
Will your Cub Scout pack be walking as part of the? I understand that family and friends can be part of a corporate team, or will the Cub Scout pack be walking separately, or will they be part of the AVX?
They will be in uniform, but they'll walk with AVX.
Great.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Does AVX have a fundraising goal?
We have a goal of $5,000 right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah. If we exceed, we'll be ecstatic.
Well, that obviously, you know, the entire goal is $125,000 for the walk.
Yes.
The goal, I think, to have 1,200 walkers out, if not even more. We just heard Coach Bennett The Coastal Carolina football coach is going to have 93 of his players out there walking to see the turnout of companies, Blue Cross Blue Shield, as you know, or some of the other area leaders that are really getting large groups out, but a $5,000 commitment if that could happen from AVX. Do you have a challenge for other companies locally?
I'd like to challenge them to walkers because I think we're going to make a big stand, a big show with AVX, definitely.
If someone wanted to be involved with the AVX team, would there be any number they could call or anyone they could get in touch with to?
Yeah, they could call me at 946-0632, and
Okay.
I'd be more than willing to talk with them about it. If they want to get involved, I'm there for them.
Well, obviously getting the Cub Scout troop out, the pack out is a great commitment and something that they will probably enjoy for the rest of their life. As you think about some of the things that are instilled in those youth at an early age, be prepared,
Yes.
work towards character, the opportunity to be involved with the American Heart Association is beyond compare. What would you do to recommend folks to get involved with the Heart Association beyond the Heart Walk? Are there any things that you've been involved with in the past with the Heart Association beyond the Heart Walk?
Heart Association, I always have money drafted out of my account.
Oh,
They
great.
can actually contact the American Heart Association in their area and find out, what can they do, whether it's giving of time or funds. They would be surprised, even if they gave one activity, sponsored something, talked with their church members, anything like that, they would be surprised that there's hundreds of things that they could do.
The American Heart Association gets no money from federal grants, no federal funds. They're not a United Way participant. They're not all that. So much of that money that is raised in the Waccamaw division or in the PD division stays within that division. I understand real quick, we've just got about 30 seconds. You're trying to get a TV donated. Why is that?
Because the holidays are coming up, and a lot of people will not buy some of the little tickets that you have for certain things. But if you can entice them with like a nice item that they wouldn't normally go out and buy for themselves, I found that will really get them motivated. And something small like that, or big, digital camera, items nice to have, but you won't go out and buy one for yourself. They're more than willing to pay, $5 for a ticket with a drawing, and with the possibility to win and know that they're doing something good.
Definitely. Angela Currall, AVX Corporation, whose goal is $5,000 this year. Obviously gotten a heck of a lot of her immediate community involved with the walk. October 19th, coming up at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. Angela, having been dramatically impacted by heart disease and stroke with many family members. We thank you for your support. The Heart Association thanks you. Look forward to seeing you on October 19th at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us, Angela. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Carolina People coming up next. Dr. Ron Engel and all the staff here at Coastal Carolina University for allowing us to visit with volunteers of the American Heart Association focused on the American Heart Walk. Keep the date in mind, October 19, 2002.